Glory to Jesus Christ. In this new series, Scripture series, we're going to not take a journey through Scripture, but try to give some tools and some contextual understanding for those that maybe are new to reading Scripture, or maybe it's just been a really long time, or maybe your experience with Scripture is limited to just hearing it spoken, right? Maybe in a liturgical context. But of course, nowadays, we have the ability for everybody to have a Bible at home, and you probably do. But maybe it's been some time since you cracked it open. Maybe you don't know where to start. It is a big collection of books and can be pretty intimidating. Maybe you started reading from the beginning, right, and lost interest somewhere around Exodus or Leviticus or Numbers if you're lucky. So this first video is just about building good foundational habits by getting into the scriptures themselves. So building a good habit, there's this great maxim, sow a thought, reap an action, sow an act, reap a habit, sow a habit, reap a character, sow a character, reap a destiny, right? We are a scriptural people, and we should have a very intimate relationship, not only with Christ in our prayer life, but his divine word. So if we entertain the alternate, avoiding, for example, scripture, we could be in a position of confusion even on basic fundamental truths of our faith, and then we give the devil the tools he needs to divide a community, right? So being intentional about thinking, acting, and making habits to trust in God and to make more time for God in our day. So opening the Bible, getting insights, opens your heart, right? Saint Bonaventure said Scripture has the power to restore the whole world towards the knowledge, praise, and love of God. So if you want a new springtime in the church, we have to be invested in spending time with his revealed word. So where do we start, right? It's a big book. To the picture to your left, this is not exhaustive, but like I said, if you started reading the Bible, maybe in the Old Testament, and got bogged down, and maybe you've tried that a few times, Lord knows I did, I think it's good to think about what kind of reader you are. So I put this together, and again, it's not exhaustive. It's not going to take you through the whole New Testament, but it's great to have a little bit of an introductory systematic approach, right? Maybe your personality type is a quick hitter, right? Very type A. Like it says on that, you don't mess around and just want to get to the point as fast as possible. Well, a great place to start, always starting with the gospel, is reading the Gospel of Mark. It's the shortest gospel, and it's very to the point, right? Acts, you'll see Acts actually woven into all of these. Acts is a very important pivot book. So that segues into the epistles. So Acts is going to be a part of all of these. But then going from Mark, Acts to Colossians and James, right? And then just going from there, right? At that point, you've introduced yourself in a lot of ways to the scripture based on your personality, and you could start zooming that out to other gospels, to other epistles, and then eventually you start to see how these things are fitting together. You maybe are, coming from a literature background, you're detail oriented, you're savvy, you love a good epic story. Luke, Gospel of Luke is your gospel to start with. And then going, through Acts to Romans and Ephesians. If you find yourself an original thinker, or you're outside the box type thinker, the Gospel of John is so unique, right? The Luke, Matthew, and Mark are the systematic gospels. John takes a different approach, right? So starting with John, it's pretty dense and complicated, but a beautiful, beautiful book. And then going into First John, and if you're daring, Revelation, right? Or just sticking with 1 John through 3 John. So, and then of course, if you're just wanting to know the why, and everything else is just extra, that's your personality type. Starting with Matthew and going through Acts to Galatians and Hebrews is a great sequence to start with. Okay, any direction you take, and you can combine these things, of course. This is not a rule by any stretch of the imagination, but this is just a starting point to get you going in Scripture, right? And it'll take you a little bit of time to read through that. You don't want to read through it quickly. You want to take your time and wonder, read the footnotes. I don't know how much everybody has different ability to, in the amount of time that they could spend with Scripture. Sometimes maybe it's only 5 minutes. Maybe it's 20 minutes. Everybody's coming from from different circumstances. But this is a great place to start because it's going to give you that foundation to pivot off of later. So my name is Michael Braceland. I'm a deacon candidate with the Archieparchy of Pittsburgh, and I serve at the Waco Byzantine community in Waco, Texas. Feel free to check us out at wacobyzantine.com. And if you have any questions, follow-up questions to this really quick-hitting video, feel free to send an email to wacobyzantine@gmail.com. God bless.